What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the Thinkware Dash Cam. Thinkware's best and latest dash cam, the U1000, is now available. It's able to capture clear and crisp videos of your drive. The U1000 is the very first two-channel dash cam in the world to boast a native 4K UHD front and a 2K QHD rear resolution. In addition to just amazing video quality, the U1000 can save you money with its speed and red light camera alerts, or make you a safer driver with lane departure warning and front collision warnings. With the convenient remote live view and parking impact alert cloud features, you can instantly check on your car or be notified of potential hit and runs. The U1000 and Thinkware's full range of dash cams are available online and in-store at thinkware.com, Best Buy, and Amazon, both in the US and Canada. With coupon code SMOKE20, that's SMOKE20, you will receive 20% off any regular priced Thinkware dash cam at thinkware.com. So go to thinkware.com and use code SMOKE20, that's SMOKE20, and get 20% off anything they sell that's regular price. Protect yourself with a Thinkware dash cam. We're also brought to you by Crown & Caliber. Listen, guys, I don't know if a lot of people know this, especially on this show, that people buy used watches. And not only do people buy used watches, you should buy used watches. The high-end Swiss watch market is a lot like the car market. And like a car, a Swiss watch can lose a lot of its initial value the second it goes out the door brand new. Let someone else take that hit, folks, and buy your watches used. I have bought almost every watch that I own used. Almost. There's some that I couldn't buy used, but almost every other one used, and frankly, I've never regretted it. Watches are much simpler than cars, and typically they're better taken care of. And with crownandcaliber.com, my sponsor for over 2 years now, what you see is what you get. When you look at their website, that watch you're looking at is the photo of the watch they are selling. When they say that watch works perfectly, they back it up with a 1-year mechanical warranty, folks. They're offering mechanical warranties on used watches. That's what's up. Crown & Caliber has Rolex, Omega, Breitling, Patek, AP, Tudor, all the good stuff. Anything you want, Crown & Caliber's got it. Thousands of watches in stock. Oh, we're going to have to get a new discount code, but until then, use my old discount code, WL150, that's WL150, and get $150 off your first watch purchase at crownandcaliber.com. All right, on this episode, we've got Lyn Woodward, one of my favorite automotive journalists. She is back in studio. She did the Rebelle Rally, the sort of all-women's navigational rally. It seems pretty hardcore, and she's got all kinds of cool stories, all kinds of pictures, and it's always good to have Lyn Woodward in studio on the Smoking Tire Podcast. What up, everybody?
What up?
My fucking Smoking Tire Podcast on a Tuesday evening. Lyn Woodward is in the studio.
Hi.
Willkommen.
Merci.
And it is your style to be 15 minutes early, and I love that.
Thank you.
Love that about you, Lyn Woodward. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so
again.
much. I'm so happy to be here again. I'm super stoked that you did not hate me enough the first time to have me back a second time.
Hate you? What does this hate you?
I don't know. I feel like I'm...
Why do you think we hate you?
It's not. I feel like I'm just a really boring person. That's why.
That's horseshit.
Yeah, I feel like we need to build her confidence.
Yeah,
up.
I don't know why you have none of this confidence.
She's
What happened to you?
Very timid.
I posted a link to this, and I was like, so if you guys don't have anything else to binge tonight, maybe watch.
Well, that's not where you start.
Well, Game of Thrones
Right.
is
You don't
over, so
start
there's
from
nothing else on.
You don't start from a position of, if you're that bored. That's not a good place to start from. Even if that is what you mean to yourself.
Maybe.
I understand. I understand why you would take a direction like that. But you don't. You deserve better, Lyn.
I feel like I'd rather be that person than the person who's like, I am so bitchin'. Like,
Totally.
you just have to fucking tune in.
Yeah, I just I listened to the Dollop podcast, which is a history podcast, and it's pretty cool. It's I learned a lot about some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I listened to the one yesterday about Frank Lloyd Wright.
Oh.
And
okay.
Frank Lloyd Wright, as it turns out, weird motherfucker.
Yeah.
Extremely weird. Possibly ran a cult. Seriously,
Interesting. Okay.
and used to walk around his property. He turned his property into sort of an architecture school that was also sort of a cult. And he would walk around his property basically just proclaiming how great he was. And so you think, like, who the fuck would walk around just going like, how great I am? Well, do we have to talk about one?
I know.
One, obviously.
We have one in
There's an
a
obvious
house
one.
that's white.
There's an obvious one. But Frank Lloyd Wright, another one.
Yeah.
So I guess, yes,
crazy.
people do. And then you know what happens? Like 50 years after they die, everyone forgets they were a fucking raving lunatic.
Right.
And they're like, oh, he built pretty houses.
He was a
But, you know,
genius.
but here's the deal with that kind of personality. If you have talent to back it up,
Oh, yeah.
if you're Frank Lloyd Wright and you're building some gorgeous stuff,
Yeah.
I can put up with your bullshit attitude.
You're
No
an eccentric.
problem.
Yeah.
That's fine because you're putting something that's
Right.
decent out. But if you're a dick and then you're just a hack on top of it,
Well, that's most
I'd
Yeah,
music.
but
rather
they
like
rarely they make it past. They
I
don't make
know.
it that far.
I don't know. Have you been to Hollywood lately?
I was gonna say most musicians are like that.
There's a lot
You know?
of Hollywood people like
Yeah,
that.
but some of the musicians, well,
Not okay, maybe not most. There are, but that personality type falls into the musical category quite often. Like where you're like,
well, it's
that
the
guy,
same.
that,
like
guy, that guy's a complete
insecure-
egomaniac,
Yeah.
but he's a complete genius.
Well, that's fine.
Do you think that's
Prince comes to mind?
Is that yeah, well, he was a genius.
But
right,
genius,
but he
like,
also was an egomaniac.
again, I could deal like, okay, all day long,
Right.
Prince, fine, like, because Little Red Corvette, whatever. But yeah, like,
Well, Eddie Murphy on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee implied that Prince's confidence was put on. He implied that Prince's confidence
like armor, like a shield.
Well, Eddie Murphy on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee told a story about how he was not confident and how he met Prince. And he saw Prince on stage wearing like assless stockings playing guitar. And then afterwards, Prince was nervous about how he looked on stage playing guitar. And he's like, you were up there in assless chaps and you were not confident about that. Like, and I found that to be very interesting.
Can we pause on the Eddie Murphy thing for a quick second?
Sure.
Have you guys seen Dolomite Is My Name?
I haven't
Not
seen the
yet,
movie.
no.
I saw everyone said it was great.
The movie is not great. It's amazing.
It's in theaters right now?
No, it's on Netflix
Oh,
right
it is?
now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It
I'll
is
have to watch it
so
later.
good. Okay, first of all, I had no idea that this guy was a real guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's totally a real guy. But Eddie Murphy, I love those actors who just kind of melt into a role and you forget, like,
Eddie Murphy
that's Eddie
does
Murphy.
that
Yeah.
shit.
This was amazing. He was incredible. Go see it, everybody. And I'm not getting paid, but it's
But
so
you're a real
good.
booster.
It's so good. And Wesley Snipes is in it. And holy shit, he is. I mean, playing.
Wait, is
so,
Wesley Snipes on this poster? No, he's not. Oh,
yes.
wait, is that him at the top right? Is that Wesley Snipes?
No.
I think that is.
That looks
Yeah,
Wesley
looks like-
Snipes-ish
Yeah.
on the top right.
He's so
Someone's going to call
plays-
me a racist for saying that they
But
everyone
he
looks
so
the same.
plays
got credit.
against. He plays against character so much
Yeah.
in this movie. It's so good. It's funny. It's smart. It's got heart. I dig it.
So you're
see
saying
that.
Eddie Murphy's better in this than Coming to America?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, that was
because-
really good.
Don't fucking blaspheme this show,
This
Vinny.
is just no. He's just
heard it's
obviously
amazing.
matured into a very fine
Yes,
actor,
of
and
course.
I loved this movie. I thought it was fantastic.
I want to watch that shit. Me and Hannah saw Jojo Rabbit a couple weeks ago, which is really good.
I haven't even heard of that.
It's fucking weird. It's really strange. It's high. I want to say it's high concept, but it might be
Okay.
low concept. It's basically
Same difference, sort of.
basically a Nazi parody.
Okay.
Like the basic premise of it is it has nothing to do with fucking rabbits. There's a little boy.
gonna ask
There's a
because-
little boy in Nazi Germany,
Okay.
and he's like maybe 10, right? And he sees everyone being Nazis, like, and he wants to be in the club like them.
Sure.
Like, he doesn't understand any of the undertones of any of it. It's
Right.
just like people in uniforms.
Right.
They're all in a club, and I want to be in the club. So
Sure.
he starts like going to this like Hitler Youth stuff and doing all this stuff. And this is a comedy, mind you. And
Sounds light and.
but he
Of course
has
it is.
he has an imaginary friend. His imaginary friend is Hitler. His imaginary friend is like a comedically played, funny,
Okay, that
almost
sounds
charming Hitler.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and you can see where this goes and
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
weird. Ultimately, I don't want to give away the end of the movie, but the Germans lose. No, but
Oh my God! Forget it. I'm out of here.
But like, as a Jew, it's sort of like weird. It's like, okay,
Right.
especially given what is happening in our country now,
Right.
the rise of white right-wing nationalism, etc. Like, is now a good time?
Too soon?
Is it not too soon?
Not,
now?
not to joke and not to make
Yeah.
fun of, but to actually, I think, is it too soon to humanize Nazis? That's really the question. Is
Yeah.
like, do we want to think of Nazis as like there was some good ones too? Like, I'm not sure I want to think that. But anyway, I recommend.
That sounds interesting.
Wait, what the? Are you guys hearing things in the background?
No.
No.
I could have fucking.
Is that your imaginary friend?
Oh,
Hitler?
it's Hitler. Sorry, Hitler was telling me to kill everybody.
I think
Yeah.
it's time to go.
Yes. There's the door.
There's-
I'll follow you out.
Hi.
Yes.
I'll
absolutely.
fuck with your Dolomite though.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's you'll love it. It's irreverent. It's funny, and he just plays this guy who's like, why can't I do that?
I can't think of anything Eddie Murphy was in that I didn't like.
Yeah. I
You
didn't
know,
see the Doolittle movie.
wait,
Like,
I'm
I even
almost
thought that was,
certain
like,
I
a little
can.
bit
I'll even listen to
weird.
Party all the time if it comes on.
Oh, I
Nutty.
love
How many nutty professors were there? Whatever the last one was.
Yeah, I just kind of missed that whole phase. That was-
I like Eddie Murphy playing 10 different people though. That's fun.
Yeah.
I guess so. That's sort of like a Tyler Perry thing.
I like
right?
him better than Tyler Perry all day long.
Infinitely.
Yeah.
I think I'm too white for Tyler Perry. I don't get Tyler Perry. Although my black trainer, he
Yeah.
doesn't like Tyler Perry either. So maybe it's not just
Maybe
that.
Tyler
think
Perry's
so.
too white for your
Maybe
trainer.
That's true. Amir might be too black for Tyler Perry.
It's possible.
I doubt it.
No.
Though.
I
He's
just feel
he's
like-
my real translator to those types of things.
that my first introduction
You're
to
going down
Eddie
a rabbit
Murphy.
Sorry.
My first JoJo rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my first introduction to Eddie Murphy was Delirious. So
Oh,
yeah.
when he
There you go.
goes from that to like the Nutty Professor, I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying it.
Here's
So anyway.
if you want to see some real craziness, here's the poster for Jojo Rabbit, which is pretty nuts.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
It's got Sam Rockwell kills in it. Sam
Oh,
Rockwell
he's
He
rules.
kills
amazing.
in everything.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. Here's like fun imaginary Hitler giving bunny ears to the kid.
Fair enough.
That's
It's a little wild.
That's a good cast.
It's
though.
a
That's
really
solid.
good fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
actually we saw it and we were like, this is an Oscar thing. They're going
Yeah,
they're going
they're
for
going
it with
for it.
they're really going for it
Well,
with this one.
Yeah. That's an envelope they're pushing.
Cars? There are some.
Cars. There are some cars. Yeah.
Speaking, I saw your friend Derek today. I shared a car with him today.
You did?
Yeah, Derek and I drove an RS6 Avant together today, which I can't talk about for like 2 weeks.
Okay, that first of all is a shame, and I'm sorry that you can't, because we've all been waiting for that car to
Yeah.
come here to the America.
All six of us. The Venn diagram
all
of people
6
who
of us.
want it and people
Yeah.
who can afford it.
Well, all the people who wanted it and could possibly afford it were at the drive today, so I
Yeah.
hope you all purchased or at least signed up to put your deposit down.
Which is what, me and Magnus and Derek
and
and,
that's it.
and
Dad
Bassam.
about it.
The rest of us are looking forward to the used car market in 15
That's
years.
right,
Yes,
that's
it's gonna be
right.
this amazing used
Can't
car.
wait.
Yeah.
No, so on everybody's post, so obviously we have a lot of mutual friends who are in the business, and a lot of people who were up there reviewing the car today. And the running joke with Derek Powell is when you see any kind of Audi wagon, like everybody copies him on it or goes, "Oh my gosh, Derek, have you seen this?" And so on every single photo that you guys all posted, you and Lieberman and Bassam and
Poor guy.
Magnus,
Everyone's tagging Derek.
I tagged Derek.
Oh, you're such a dick.
Even on Steve Ewing's
Oh
pictures.
my God, what a dick you
I
are.
just
That's
tagged him
awesome.
on everything. I just was like, Derek. I think he liked it.
I can't drive. So drive impressions are embargoed.
Yes.
But I can talk to you about how it looks, which is pretty fucking awesome.
It's gorgeous. I
Yeah.
mean, look at that.
It
Did
looks
you drive
awesome.
that one with the surfboard on it? Or
That
no?
was the static display.
Well, now-
You know what that car was? No shit. That car was the backup for if somebody fucking rolled one down a hill or something.
I'm almost surprised that did not happen today. But
People were fucking mobbing today.
yeah.
I actually, the launch was in Malibu, so I, they were like, would you like programs drive route number 1 or programs drive route number 2? And I was like,
I'm good.
I'm a local buddy. Some German guy was like, would you like me to program some navigations? And I was like, I'll see you in fucking 2 hours, man. All right, guys, we didn't lose your super chats. Get in the super chats and talk to us. We're back in the hood. Lyn Woodward is in the motherfucking studio, and she does things with cars just like moi.
I do.
She rolled up in a fatty Montero.
I did actually.
I love
It's a
that
shorty.
Montero.
It's a shorty Montero.
No, but Fatty was like a Kevin Smith, like Jason Mewes.
Yeah.
Like what you need is a fatty boom batty blonde.
Yes. So that car
With a
right now,
PH.
I will say it's an 87 Montero. It's first gen short wheelbase. I love that car. It is my only running car right now because everything else has completely just shit the bed.
What is everything else?
So I have a 66 Datsun 1600 Roadster.
The Roadster. Oh, I love that car.
I love that car too, but the water pump seal is busted, so that's going into the shop next week.
Wah, wah.
I know, right? And then I have a 2013 Jetta Sport Wagon, which is supposed to be the reliable car.
Right.
And I got into it last night. So I work down in Irvine, and I live in the San Fernando Valley, which
Yeah, you have the worst commute.
it's really bad.
Dear Lord.
Was it you or Mike Harley who has a worse commute?
Harley is worse.
Harley's worse?
He's
Okay.
like another 100 miles. He's in Newbury Park.
What?
And works in Irvine. But that's, yeah.
Okay.
So I get in the car. It's late. It's already dark because I leave a little late, so I miss traffic. I got in the car, and all of a sudden I turned it on, and the power steering light turns on, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, no.
So the power steering went out. There are no other press cars there. So all of our, because we're sort of lean right now on the press car tips,
Yeah.
so there's no other cars. And on top of all of it, I had forgotten my security badge, so I couldn't even get back into the office. So I was just sitting in my little
God.
wagon, and I'm like, I need to get to LA. Like, what do I do now?
no.
I had a very kind neighbor who came up and actually came down and picked me up. I mean, and brought me home. And
But you're
now I'm-
supposed to have like 18 cars though, Lynn.
well, if I did, they'd all be broken except for the Montero. The Montero is honestly like the reliable thing, which is amazing. And I
Makes
wanted,
me happy to say that because I have an old Mitsubishi too now.
well, I wanted to ask, how is Hannah enjoying it?
So she really likes the Delica.
Yeah.
She gets annoyed when I take it from her for things. It went in for a water pump service. I'm sorry, timing belt service, which
Okay.
includes a new water pump.
Nice.
It's actually like the only major service that you do on this thing.
Right.
And it's supposed to be every 100K, 100,000 kilometers.
Okay.
But like, ours has 40,000 kilometers on it. But like it's 30 years old, so we just have no idea.
And it's
Sure.
So we just did
rubber
it.
Better to
timing
do
belt.
it.
So
Better to do it.
So that was no big deal, but it took me a minute. The speedometer cable also broke. It's a weird one.
That is.
But so it took me like probably a week to source that from Canada.
Okay.
So it's at the shop now. It's been there for like 10 days just because we're waiting on this shit.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get it back soon. But she loves it. I love it too. It's
That's
great.
awesome.
It's so fun.
Is that going to be a Radwood entry in December?
maybe.
It's gonna be her Radwood entry.
Nice.
We have. I
Love
mean,
it.
we have like
Many Radwood.
We have a lot of options.
You could have your own personal Radwood,
That's
really.
That's why I got the crown.
yeah.
It's true.
The bummer about Radwood this year is that it's not on the same weekend as my birthday, which is
Oh,
in the
man.
past it has been, and so I've been able to have a party for like Radwood / birthday, which I can't. I mean, I can do, I guess, but it's either going to be one or the other.
Right.
I'd rather it be Radwood.
We got other
Yeah.
plans for your birthday this year.
Do you now?
Can't say
Are
that.
there plans for my birthday? I don't know about any
It's
of them.
under embargo.
Good callback.
Nice.
You can't.
Very
You
nice.
can't discuss
Good
that.
callback.
So yeah, the Montero will be at Radwood.
Nice. that is a great little truck, though.
Thank you. I love it.
I'm excited for Radwood. Actually, I
I
think
am
it's going to
too.
be a good one this year.
I am too.
On a side note with the Delica and Hannah's impressions on it, we figured out, because remember she had said she was unhappy with certain aspects of the dynamics of the Jag,
Oh yeah.
and I think we figured out what it is.
Was there a problem?
No,
Jag?
the Jag's fine because
Oh.
I drove it and it's fine.
Oh.
What it is that she likes the torque of the diesel.
Oh.
She likes the Delica and she likes my car.
Oh, because she goes the torque.
She likes the torque. And then because the Jag has the V6 and it's buzzy, she's been driving around my diesel and the Delica diesel, and so she's used to a diesel,
yeah.
and now she gets in the Jag and it's like, "Nyeh," and she's like, what's wrong
Well,
with
she
it?
actually she said something to me that was so interesting. That's like the kind of thing a non-car person would say to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, she's driving my mom's F-Type, right?
Okay.
So my mom me and my dad bought my mom an F-Type for her birthday 4 years ago.
Nice.
She put 2,700 miles on it in 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And like a month
amazing.
ago or so, my parents are moving into a smaller house. They don't have room for it in their smaller house. They're having one less garage spot.
Right.
And so she's like, can you take it for the winter? Because I don't want to put my regular car outside for this thing all winter.
Fair enough.
So we took it, and Hannah's just been driving it, and it's a F-Type Coupe V6S. Like, it's lovely.
Yeah.
But Hannah says to me, she goes, "Okay, I like this car, but the noise and the RPM don't feel like they coincide
match?
1-to-1 with the movement of the car."
Yeah.
Interesting.
And she's like, "I don't get it." She's like, "It's got these like trumpety noises, but it makes them sometimes when the car isn't going faster." It's really funny.
Oh,
Yeah, and
that's so
discussing that with her
interesting.
today, I think we figured out that it's she's just not used to.
She doesn't get, because she drives very light
Yeah.
throttle. So
Yeah.
you get that
Sure.
turbo torque diesel thing at like 1,500 RPM.
Yeah.
You know, she had this Volvo S60, V60 R design with like the monster turbo 6 in it.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
And
car.
that thing, it's spooled up at like 1,200. So
Yeah.
she would be using like eighth throttle all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's the same kind of thing. So she probably just is not
Yeah.
used to a non-turbo. She hasn't driven a non-turbo
That's-
car in like 6 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Speaking of, I just got back from the Jeep Eco Diesel.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Drive.
How was that?
It's actually really
Is that this
good.
little
That's
blue
the
guy
blue
here?
thing right
This
there.
blue fang?
Yeah.
That's what all the Jeep people were waiting for.
All the Jeep people have been
Yeah.
waiting for
what
it.
is this? What's this video?
Oh, that's just like a little teaser. So we have a bigger video that's up on Kelley Blue Book. That's where I
Yeah.
work, everybody.
I like
Shameless plug.
seeing. I like your Instagram with subtitles. This is
Nice.
good.
Right? Do you like that I'm absolutely matching the
I was
damn
gonna
Jeep?
call you out on that as well.
I didn't-
Did you plan that?
I did not plan that, but when I saw that color, I was like, I have to have that color.
It's a really nice blue.
It's gorgeous.
Very good blue.
Jeep's got some good colors.
Okay, so give me the stats on the diesel.
So 260 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque.
Which is solid.
It's-
It's a 4 or a 6?
Six.
It's a 6.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a
all
3-liter
right,
6. So they don't have gas mileage on it yet, but they say around high 20s for combined numbers.
Really?
500-mile range on
Holy
one tank.
on a Jeep.
On a Jeep. And honestly, so this, and I was quite surprised. They put us on a pretty challenging course for just Joe normal journalists. And I was surprised. I did the entire thing in 4 high.
Yeah.
Didn't need 4 low. Didn't need lockers. You of course could do it in that if you needed to and wanted to. But really, I mean,
Well, you're not supposed to though.
they told you,
Yeah.
they're like, now shift into 4 low and now put your lockers on. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try it without it.
Yeah.
And it more than did it. It was
Yeah, with
it was
a
pretty.
proper,
Imagine.
a
It
proper
was-
truck like that, you can do a lot of this shit in like 2-wheel drive, really.
Well,
Well,
that's the next test.
Off-roading guys will tell you that you're not supposed to until you need it, because
Right.
if you
Well, and
if all of a sudden you get stuck in 4 high and you're already in
Exactly.
4 high, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like,
you
got
need
nowhere
something.
else to
You
go.
need something
Yeah.
left in the tool
Yeah.
bag for
Yeah.
sure.
But I mean, what you're doing, they wanted you to feel all the stuff. So
Yeah.
they wanted you to test it, so that makes sense.
But yeah, I was really impressed, and I thought it was really great.
Is it preferable to you to the gas motor? I mean,
Yeah. So right now I'm driving a long-term the 2-liter 4-cylinder, the
that's probably
turbo.
terrible.
Listen, if you're buying a Jeep to drive on the road and commute, it's perfect.
Really?
It's great.
Really?
But again, if that's what your goal is, to have the Jeep
Mall
and to
crawler.
look, yeah, exactly. But this
you ever
one,
spend
I mean,
any
if
real
you're
time like dailying a Wrangler? Like
I have
it's
one.
Just,
Yeah.
it's
But here's the
awful.
thing, but you
It's
have
such
to-
a bad daily driver.
I will
it's a
say,
dog car.
in its defense, I will say this: I've wanted a Jeep since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
For me,
You and every other girl.
I am that customer. I actually love driving it as a daily
I
because
have-
I
was
think
this was this from Clueless? Is it Cher from Clueless that did it?
No.
didn't she have a Beamer?
Cher from Clueless?
Did she
No,
have it?
white
Oh, the
Jeep
white
Wrangler.
Jeep.
Yeah.
White Jeep Wrangler.
No.
The black dude who ended up on Scrubs, he was driving the Beamer.
Yeah.
He drove a 325i
325.
convertible.
I was already past my formative years when Clueless came out.
Oh, really?
I was an 80s chick, like 70s and 80s girl, not
okay.
90s. I was all those.
So Daisy Duke had a Jeep.
All
You didn't.
those
I was.
were already
I was
formed.
throwing you a bone there. You could have
No,
grabbed
I
it. You could
appreciate
have
it.
jumped out and grabbed it.
But I will say, I really enjoy driving it. See the yellow one right there? The one that got its headlights gouged out by
Ooh.
some like jackhole in my neighborhood.
It looks like the Jeep got drunk and is hungover.
That or it's
It's like a wonky.
it's starring in some sort of Shakespearean like drama.
It's like a cross-eyed
Fucking-
Wrangler.
What?
What happened?
They ripped out the LEDs.
it got stolen.
It got stolen. So
shit!
From the fucking press launch?
Yeah, from my
from your
front
driveway?
of my house.
Oh no!
Which is worse.
Oh, I thought
The
this was
press
from the
launch would have
press
been really
launch. That
funny.
would've been
That's going to be a new
amazing.
thing. Is that the new Jeep headlights are going to get stolen?
I hope not.
Well,
I
yeah,
hope
I
I'm
mean,
not
those-
starting something.
The LED headlights for the Jeeps, like to retrofit, are between like a decent set's like $700-800 for a
Yes.
set of decent LEDs. So I could.
All you
got to
do is like crowbar the grill off.
Apparently
I
so.
guarantee you this probably took less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
For 2 people, a screwdriver, and a crowbar.
Bro, remember when the second gen Lexus RX 300 went to an HID?
Oh, yeah.
And they were raiding dealers.
Yeah.
By me in New York, you'd
That's
see the news and more would be
horrible.
like 35 Lexus RX 300s missing their headlights from dealers. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, everyone was stealing the HIDs. That's crazy.
Well,
I'm sorry.
this happened to this is my long-term car, which is so sad.
But in general, you say go diesel.
Go diesel. It's really good. You're going to pay a premium for it. It's like an extra $4,500 to get that engine as an option. But hey, listen, if you've been waiting for it, it's worth it. The only kind of bummer is they're only putting it on the 4-door versions. So the 2 doors, the take rate on the 2 doors for Jeep, less than 10%.
Yeah.
10% of Jeeps that are being sold now are the 2-door versions.
And
so
they're all going to Hawaii on tours.
they're not.
But there's a lot of reasons for that. Don't you think?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
but again, it
really improves the practicality.
I owned
Yes.
I owned a 2-door
100%.
TJ. I've owned a 4-door JK, and I can tell you right now, like usability on the 4-door is there.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason really to have a 2-door unless you just want to have a 2-door.
Yeah.
I mean, the short wheelbase, like, it could be helpful for city parking, maybe, but
maybe.
like, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of really good things going for it.
Is it weird that the European manufacturers had a big diesel phase, went headed hard at diesel, and then got real? Obviously, we know how that ended, and now they're all running and all diving into electric as fast as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And now here's Chrysler with a new diesel.
Just rolling into a diesel.
Is that strange? Not that I don't want an EV Wrangler really, but
No.
I mean it would be a cool SEMA car, but like I don't think that's where it needs to go. But like, is that weird?
Rover went diesel a couple years ago.
True, the Range Rover diesels, yes, they did.
That thing was amazing.
But
the Jag as well.
Don't you kind of feel like diesel's like on its way out here in the U.S.? I mean,
I don't think so.
know.
I really don't think so. I mean, if the EV infrastructure doesn't jump up quickly, then I mean, having the few EV cars that we've gotten to play with, it's a pain in the ass if you don't have it built into your house.
I'm
really
driving
can't-
Taycan tomorrow, so we're gonna see what that 800-volt charging is about.
even if you have it in your house, if you don't have it anywhere else, you're still fucked. Like,
Right, no,
and you
public
better
charging
have low
sucks.
range. Like,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
And I mean, I went diesel just because for around town, I can't get less than 30 miles per gallon in my 3 Series wagon. I drive like a complete jackass, and I still get 28 to 32 miles per gallon around town.
Yeah.
On the highway, I'll get high 40s.
Damn.
I averaged, I left here, went to Salt Lake City, and came back, and averaged 89 miles an hour on the trip. And with a Thule roof, huge roof rack on the like box on the top and everything, I still averaged 33 miles per gallon at an 89 miles per hour average. So
There definitely are reasons for. That's for sure.
Yeah, and
That's
the
for
torque's
sure.
great.
Oh, yeah.
It is nice. Vinny got his own camera now. Vinny gets a camera.
Yes.
I decided I didn't need my own camera anymore, and I gave it to Vinny.
Special.
That's kinda cool.
You're
I
special.
only
I'm not nearly
only
as pretty
exist
as
on the
Lyn is,
wide today.
Nice.
I'm down with the G. Hey, fucking Scott Brown, hook it up. Let's try a little Wrangler diesel. I'll
Yes.
take it up. I'll do some wheeling.
I'm sure he'll hook you up with one.
Last time you heard, did we talk about the California, the Socal Backcountry Discovery Route that is now open?
No.
Do you know about the Backcountry Discovery routes? It's
No,
like trails
explain.
to drive entire states off road. Backcountry Discovery Route. So we did the Washington ride. Oh, here we go. We did it's Butler Motorcycle Maps. They put
Okay.
these together. And the backcountry discovery routes are ways to get across. Oh, come on! Ways to get across entire states without using tarmac.
Okay, I'm fascinated by this, and this is actually an excellent segue into the Rebelle Rally.
I know. I want to talk about
yeah.
that, which sounded awesome.
This is amazing, and I'm gonna need to look at that link.
Wait, the map is taking forever to load.
Once you get new headlights
I hope
in your
that
Jeep,
doesn't
you should
mean
go.
I know, right?
that our feed is crapped out, but it hasn't. Here it is.
How many
Load.
different options does it give you? Is it like ways? Like you can go a bunch of different ways, or does it have just
so
like
it gives
one?
you one primary trail that's downloadable onto like a tablet.
That's awesome.
And then you can see in a couple sections here, there's like an optional harder one.
Mm-hmm.
So like the optional harder one may be like boulders, or in some cases it might be too narrow for a car and you might be a motorcycle.
Okay.
But like you're supposed to be able to do this entire trail in basically like a stock Grand Cherokee.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just the most beautiful way to see, a state. And this one goes roughly from the Mexican border, right down here, up to near like isn't this Tahoe? I think it's near like that's Fresno and like Mammoth. So it's like it's like the Southern Cal. So we should get like a Wrangler and
totally do
a
that.
new Defender,
Yes.
and a Bronco,
Yes,
and
we
do
should.
that shit.
Yes, signed up.
Um,
Already signed up.
Rebelle Rally?
Rebelle Rally. Oh
Fuck
man.
is up with the Rebelle Rally?
The Rebelle Rally is such a unique event. It's crazy and it's amazing. So it's an off-road event. It's basically 8 days. 7 of those days are a competition, and it is a map and compass navigation rally.
Wow.
You don't get to use GPS. You don't get to have your phone with you. So right before you hit the first base camp, they take away your prohibited items, which are your phone that has any kind of connectivity to the outside. If you have a camera like a GoPro that can connect to like any kind
Wi-Fi
of
or something,
coordinates or anything like that, nope, that's gone. So you are basically just out and you're off the grid for 7 days. So what you guys are seeing right now, this was the rig that I drove.
Oh, nice.
So every car, you have two, obviously you have 2 teammates. You have a driver, you have a navigator. Some teams, the people switch positions. In our particular case, we did not. I drove the whole way, and my teammate, Sedona, she navigated. That's Sedona right there, yeah. And so Sedona had been driving for Nissan this is the 4th year that the rally has been in existence, and she's been driving Nissan trucks for the last 4 years. She had a teammate. Her name is Leah. Awesome woman. I met them 2 years ago when I did the rally, but she just had a baby in May. And so
congratulations, Lisa.
Yes. Her name is Grace, and the team name is Wild Grace. So I thought that was really appropriate and very sweet. But so Sedona approached me and said, "Hey, I don't know if Leah's going to be ready to come back after having a baby so soon. Would you be interested in joining?" And I had a chance to interview Sedona last year because she drove a bone stock Armada, and they came in, I think, 11th, which I thought, what the fuck? Their suspension had blown out, and they still came in 11th, and I was really impressed by it.
Out of how many?
Out of 40 teams.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not bad.
So I was really impressed by their performance and by both of them. And so the opportunity came along, and I jumped at it. The folks at Nissan have always been really good and generous to me, and so I loved Sedona, and I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds like an awesome opportunity. I've been wanting and waiting for the right chance to come and do it again, and it just,
there you go.
know those situations where all the pieces just fall into place, like, oh man, this is so easy.
Did you have to wear helmets the whole time?
Helmets the entire time.
Fuck, get out of here.
10
Why?
hours a day.
Were you driving fast?
No, it's not that. It's because of insurance for the BLM. I'm convinced
Really?
that that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh.
So
everything else about this sounds awesome, but a helmet for 10 hours a day just to drive on a dirt road? That's nuts.
I will say, and here's my shameless plug for the folks at Arai who sent me my helmet. I had neck surgery a year ago. I had a disc replaced in my neck, and I obviously want very much to protect that part of my body. But that helmet is... you forget that it's on your head. I mean, it's so light. It's as comfortable as any helmet is going to get. Come on, I look like a fucking badass in
you
that
kind
thing.
of do. You really
that's
do.
a lot of helmeting.
No one looks good in a faceless helmet, people.
Of course no one looks good in a faceless helmet. That's why if I'm not on a racetrack, I don't want to wear one.
But, I guess we understand why. Like, our heads are kind of knocking against things. But,
Were there any head injuries?
No. Well, there was one car that one team that actually rolled their car. So
Oh, really?
Were
they okay?
Totally fine. She landed. She
had a helmet on. She
was in I think an LR4. She rolled and they landed on their wheels down.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Do they continue?
She actually crossed the finish line.
Boss.
Yeah,
it's a boss.
Yeah, boss. Very boss.
Was it this LR4 right here? This white one?
No. It was a blue one.
Is this awesome sportsmobile here? Is that a competitor vehicle or a support vehicle?
So that was basically a support vehicle, but that was the media team, and they did live feeds this year. So they had a schedule, and they would be live from either the starting line or somewhere out on the course, or they would follow us when we were like shoving food in our face at the end,
of course,
or every night. But they had a live stream, and
satellite probably.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Satellite, and that's what that badass mofo truck was.
What were some of the other choice vehicles? I mean, I know Emmy Hall brought that Cullinan. That's hilarious.
Emmy Hall and her navigator Rebecca Donaghy, they drove in a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. She had some challenges with that car. So that car was in the crossover class. Look at how badass that is.
That's gangster.
That does look beast.
It's pretty gangster. Like,
it also looks like it's mildly broken in this photo. I mean, I don't think it is, but it does look broken there.
So she had to battle like three. I mean, obviously, so she was on snow tires. Or winter tires.
Yeah.
And so
was it really hot out too?
It was hot, but the terrain, you're out in Johnson Valley. We were in Stoddard, OHV.
Yeah.
These are not like delicate places to go drive certainly not a car with like those low profile tires.
Right, but like our snow tires are like their best option,
yes,
right?
On those they were 21, 22, 22s.
Yeah.
And yeah,
the pack system doesn't have. If there's, I don't know if do they use the pack system still on the Cullinan?
I don't know.
It's a special bead thing that Rolls-Royce had a while back.
Honestly,
yeah.
like everything, the mechanics were like everything that we tried to look up to help fix this thing. It was like, please take your Rolls-Royce to the nearest Rolls-Royce dealership. Your Rolls-Royce mechanic will be happy to help you. Bing. Please call our concierge service. So yeah, I
mean, it looks the fucking tits though, doesn't it? I mean, that looks awesome.
I was so impressed by how Rolls-Royce just threw themselves and committed to
the dash with all the shit all over the dash.
Yeah.
I hope they disabled the airbags. Imagine getting a face full of calculator. That's what the helmet's for.
Honestly, that's why you have Emmy Hall driving for you, so you don't get a face of airbag.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, she lost 3 tires, and she still somehow managed to win the crossover class in that thing.
Very good.
Beast.
And style points. She won that.
Total style points. It was funny. So like I said, Rolls-Royce really showed up, and Elizabeth Williams, who is one of their PR reps, she was there all week. They had another Cullinan there, a second Cullinan there that hosted media and drove media around. And on the last day, Matthew Johnson, who is, a tremendous off-roader himself, was in one of those tuxedo T-shirts and had a little cap on.
It's a good move.
It was
Anybody
classy.
bring Grey Poupon?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Emmy and Rebecca did, and they're like, you have to ask, and then we'll give you a little squeezy.
Really would have been a sponsorship opportunity worth going for.
Yeah.
All they need
Seriously.
is like one 30-something on their PR team over at Grey Poupon, and you got that shit.
Right?
That's fucking rad. So how many days was it out there?
So 7 days of competition. There's one sort of day 0, which is basically a test day. It's a practice day. You're still finding checkpoints. But you're heading to the to base camp, to the first base camp. And we start in Nevada. We started in a place called Goldfield, Nevada, which is this crazy old ghost town. I don't know if you can look it up, but there's a bar. I mean, people live there. It's like crazy. There's a bar there with these like amazing
Goldfield, Nevada. Wow, it looks like a fucking ghost town.
There's a high school.
There is a high school,
but
allegedly. It looks
absolutely.
It looks pleasant. I'll be honest. It looks very, very pleasant.
It's absolutely amazing. And so
you like meth? Because I got some.
Oh, desert people are amazing.
I was going to say asbestos, but
desert folk are really something.
Yes. So it's 7 days, and usually you're driving between 10 and 11 hours a day. We had on average about 22 to 26 checkpoints that we had to hit.
Okay.
There are varying degrees of difficulty. So if you imagine like a ski slope, there are greens, blues, and blacks.
Okay,
so
like a
greens,
black diamond kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Greens are the easiest and mandatory. They're always staffed by someone on the Rebelle staff. You always generally kind of know where they are. They're usually right on a road, and so they're fairly easy to find, but you have to get them.
Yeah.
The blues are more advanced. They're either marked by a small flag or like a rebar post. I mean, they could be just out in kind of in the middle of nowhere. And then the blacks they are not marked at all. So you have to basically, what you have to do is you have to plot to that point. You have to get to where you think it is by using your map and then using a heading and distance. And then you need to triangulate off of whatever you see around you to try and figure out and find out exactly where you are if you're close to that black. And
otherwise, you're lost.
We have satellite trackers, and you ping the satellite tracker when you get to whatever checkpoint you're at, and that's how the judges know if you were successful or not.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's.
And if you're not, is there feedback, or you're just not, and you go to the next one and they tell you you're not later?
Instantly, you know from the latitude and longitude on the tracker where you are.
Yeah.
So if you're well out of the range, then you get a 10-point penalty for being outside of whatever it is that their bullseye is.
Yeah.
And it's an unbelievably challenging thing to me. This is such a great navigator's challenge. My teammate Sedona, not only really good at plotting points on a map, which when you're thinking about like a 200,000 scale map or 100,000 scale map, I mean,
who reads a map anymore?
Exactly.
Yo, someone did this shit in a Subaru Outback?
Oh, dude, you'd be shocked. There was a Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross that was totally rigged out for an adaptive athlete, a veteran who's in a wheelchair. And
Oh my God, imagine putting that much money into such a cheap vehicle.
But honestly, it did. They threw KO2 tires on it, and I was honestly so impressed with how Mitsubishi supported that team. It was really awesome.
So that brings up a question. Okay, so if somebody wants to participate in this, what's the prerequisites? I mean, what do you have to show Providence that you've done things like this before? Could somebody have never really gone off-roading before?
That's the beauty of this event. It is really open to anybody who has an interest and who has a car that has all-wheel drive.
And basically,
and that is, and then there's the money.
Safety.
So
what's the entry fee?
It's a little over $12,000,
which isn't bad
per car.
What does that include? Everything besides?
It includes everything.
Once you show up?
Yeah, it includes absolutely everything. Most of that money goes to permits.
Yeah, BLM
permits.
Yeah.
And
it probably goes to the insurance premium to get the permit more than the permit itself.
The helmets. I should have worn my helmet the entire time I was in here.
I bet if it was $20K a car, you wouldn't have to wear helmets because they could get a more expensive premium.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. The Gazelles is $25,000 or something crazy.
Yeah. Do they wear helmets?
Yeah, I think they do.
But they're in Morocco and shit, right?
Yeah. And that's more of a race. This is not real. This is not a race. This is a
not a race. It's a rally.
It's a navigation rally.
It's a navigation challenge.
Yes. For points, but there's like a Michelin star rated chef who comes and cooks you food, and it's it is top notch. It's world class all the way. So you're
so when you're lost in the desert, you have a beautiful pack lunch.
That's right.
How was the swag?
The t-shirts this year were really good.
Quality swag.
It's all about the swag.
Very, very stoked on the t-shirts.
It seems like a good time. They have.
It's a great time.
I drove a guy's car a while ago, and obviously Rebelle Rally is for women, but this dude had this G-Wagon that was very lightly modified, like Fox shocks, mild lift, and then some cool little interior bits and big wheels and tires, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they do these. It was like up in northern Nevada. It's like these scavenger hunts in cars,
cool.
basically these kinds of things, and like. The off-road navigational challenge stuff, that seems more fun to me than straight rock crawling, look at me get up this pile of rocks kind of thing.
100%, 100%. And just to go back, because I want to talk just a little bit about who is entering. These are not I'm I've won all these off-roading awards. My teammate 4 years ago, she she enjoyed off-roading. She liked it. She was okay at it, but she was just she's a mom who has 2 children, and she heard about this event and she's like, you know what, that sounds great, but I've never navigated before with a map and a compass. And now 4 years later, I'm happy to say, I mean, we came in 6th out of 40 teams. So her skill, I mean, you really do, you don't have to be like a world-class driver
Off-roader.
or off-roader in order to be successful.
Well, it's important because I think, with especially like now with the Jeeps and stuff, that's the female market for the off-roading is getting huge. I mean, and having just come back from SEMA, I saw that a little bit, but even owning a Jeep, I mean, I was part of what they call the Tampa Jeep Crew, which was the big Jeep club, which, I mean, there was like almost 6,000 members just in the Tampa area.
Yeah.
And I mean, the females were hardcore.
Yeah.
And so to have, an option like this, for somebody who doesn't, maybe is interested in it a little bit, but they, it can be intimidating, any of these rallies. I mean, Matt and I have done plenty of these rallies that, if you're not part of that, you get a little nervous about getting into something like this, but it sounds like it would be a really great time for somebody that's even remotely interested.
I think so. I think that's the reason why Emily Miller, who's the woman who created this, she was a driver for Rod Hall for a really long time. I mean, she's an off-road stud in her own right. It's ridiculous. But she wanted to make this something that was approachable for women, because you throw men into the mix and then suddenly it's like, testosterone and like,
Unless they're from LA.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch. Just kidding. But yeah,
I get it. It makes a lot of sense to like
and
remove
listen,
some of that kind of like
and
fucking
women,
testosterone juice from it.
Women are still competitive. Do not get me wrong. Like there are ladies out there who are like, fuck off, I'm winning this. Like, so they're very serious.
I'm not going to argue that at all whatsoever. Absolutely.
But the other thing that I think is so amazing about this event is you see a cross track out there, you see an Outback out there, you see a Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross that is
what's like the shantiest
modified
car that did it? Like, you don't have to, I don't want you to like make fun of something, but like the cheapest, oldest, least equipped.
Where like you rolled up and you're like, that ain't gonna make it.
I mean, I saw in just like scrolling through these photographs, and by the way, whoever the Rebelle Rally's like official photographer is for these daily updates is very good.
They have,
they take really nice pictures.
Amazing
there's
photographers.
the Eclipse Cross.
There's
so, I saw at least a 15 to 20-year-old Toyota 4Runner in here that was like white.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything older than that. That 4Runner rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this black one is fantastic. I love 4Runners. They're such nice cars.
Yeah.
Good trucks for off-roading.
So you don't have to have a super modified rig. There is a bone stock classification that also receives an award for the top, for the winner of the bone stock award. And
this looks like a stock Jeep right here.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's the winch, but other than that, that looks pretty standard.
But Honda had a Ridgeline and a Passport in it this year. They stocked.
They brought a Passport.
They brought a Passport. And
Yikes.
The new Passport's actually not terrible,
isn't it?
Yeah,
no,
it's not bad.
It's
changed from what. It's not an Isuzu anymore. The new Passport's completely different.
As far as
what's the difference between the Passport and the Pilot, though?
Okay, I'll tell you. Because I went on that launch, and it was in Moab, which was actually. I did some stuff in that thing that I probably wasn't supposed to do, but I could do it anyway.
Is it arable?
It's totally arable. But
the way she said it, I was
they lost 6 inches off the backside of it. It's an inch higher. And so you have a better approach and departure angle on that thing. You have a better breakover angle on that thing.
Think Nissan Xterra.
The software, the torque vectoring software that they have, that all-wheel drive torque vectoring software that they have on the Pilot is so much better on this size and this proportion of car that I mean, honestly, to me, this is the closest thing that you can get to having lockers.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
Okay.
In this application, it's really effective.
Well, I haven't driven the Passport yet, but I know a couple of people that have, and they said the new one's pretty amazing. But having driven like the NSX, I know what Honda's capable of with electronic torque vectoring, what they do with the NSX. So to apply it off-road, I would imagine it's just as good.
Yeah. Yeah,
I kind of like it. I don't dislike the Passport
Points
at all.
for the Passport.
Points for the Passport. And, impressed with Honda they fielded 2 teams of female engineers, and they sent them out there, and they're like, okay. I mean, it's a great proving ground for any OEM. Why anybody else doesn't do it, I'm just crazy.
I think some others do it.
They do. I would love to see the new Defender out there. I would love to see the Bronco out there.
I could have swore people got we're still talking about Moab. I could have swore.
Oh no, the Rebelle. I want to see them entering in the Rebelle. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Once they hear about it here, it's going to happen.
Hey, listen, man. Rolls-Royce did it, guys. Come on.
I think that was pretty good PR for Rolls-Royce, actually.
I think so too, because it's just a really unexpected thing.
I'm thinking next year you're in a Rover.
Why don't you could be the person who
I could be
who does it.
Do you hear that, Land Rover?
Just throwing it out there.
Hey, Jerry.
You could be.
Let's talk. Call me.
You could be the one.
I could be the one.
Diesel Discovery.
That's right.
Defender.
Hey, live folks, get in the super chat. We've already got a few in there, and I'm going to shut it down in the next 5 minutes. So get in that B if you want.
So I do want to talk about I've done a lot of killer off-roading in the last part of this year. So there was another trip. I remember Aaron Robinson and I were here talking about the Normandy thing, but Haggerty approached me because of the sweet Montero outside. They're like, we really like your truck and we would really like to do a story about your truck. And so, because one of their other employees got an 87 first gen 4Runner.
Perfect.
Really sweet.
What year's your Montero?
87.
Oh, perfect.
And so, of course, Robinson's like, well, I need an 87 something and we'll all go out and drive it somewhere. So he bought an 87 Samurai.
Oh, those are great.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And the three of us trailered our trucks out to Moab and we did the White Rim Trail in our three.
Oh, no way.
Really?
Tiny little.
How'd it go?
That's awesome.
Dude, it was.
Everybody make it?
Everybody made it. We had not one mechanical
that's awesome.
problem the whole way. It was outstanding.
Well, you had
great.
3 Japanese cars in the late 80s. They were not going to break down.
Right? We got some very interesting looks while we were out there from all the big, fat modded out, Jeeps and such. But, oh man, it was fun.
Moab's beautiful. I got to do
Moab's
Easter Jeep
gorgeous.
Safari one year, and that was just the most amazing thing ever. We were out there, we're climbing up the hills, and all of a sudden it starts snowing, and it's like, it's an amazing area out there.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I mean, honestly, when I was first approached, all I could see in my head was these little itty bitty cars on this massive landscape. And I was like, I can see that, and I am so in. So yeah.
That's a good story.
I will say though, my car, and I'm not apologizing to either one of the other dudes who were out there. My car was by far the best car out there. That Samurai.
For what reason?
The Samurai is super cute, but fuck, dude, it is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a rough.
That suspension
It's
is
a rough trail car.
Is it
truck.
stock?
Yeah.
It's a stock Samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
tough.
the Forerunners got a long wheelbase, so depending on where you were going, that's a difficult.
Yeah.
In some situations.
Was that 4Runner is from when it was a pickup truck, right? That's
Correct.
The first one is when it was
two-door.
actually a pickup
Correct.
truck, right?
Two-door.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
two-door. It had the, obviously the top that came off, and yeah. I got out of that Samurai and I was like, you guys, I wore the wrong bra for this drive. It was really uncomfortable.
Whose fault is that?
That was not my fault. I'm blaming Suzuki.
Front and rear leaf springs with solid axles.
Yeah.
On a miniature little truck.
I think the Delica would probably be the jam.
It would take
I
some
think
time.
that would be amazing.
my
And
van
then
would
you
be
could
what's
just
up.
camp in it. You wouldn't
You could
have
just sleep
to
in it.
do tents and all that other business.
I don't like tents.
No, you're not. Are you a camping guy?
No, but not because I don't like camping. It's because I have a bad back and I can't sleep on the ground. I like car camping.
Okay.
If I have somewhere comfortable to sleep, then I love building a fire and doing all that shit, being outside. Like, I love it. I just can't sleep on the ground because I'll be in a lot of pain.
How much? So how your Delica? I've not seen it yet, but how overlandy is it? I mean, do you have the full bed and stove and shit like that?
No,
okay.
none of it. None of it. I have the stock captain's chairs and I have the stock bench seat in the rear. Yeah. No, I don't have anything. I have 1552 wheels and knobby tires. That's it. But it's fine.
Yeah.
Fog lights and brush guards.
And fog lights and brush guards.
Well,
That's about it.
aren't those standard?
Yeah,
those are
kinda
standard
came out,
standard features on that car.
Yes. But we repainted the brush guards to match the rims now.
That's
it looks
awesome.
better. Yeah. But no, I would go off-roading in it.
Yeah?
I wouldn't. Yeah, it's fine. It has brand new shocks and shit. It's okay.
Well, we're going to do that Backcountry, California.
Oh my God. I don't want to do it in the Delica. I want to do it in a fucking Range Rover.
I want to do it in someone else's car.
No, like
the Lexus we went off road in that one review was solid.
oh yeah, it's
The
great.
the GX?
No, for me,
No,
like
the LX.
the new
Oh.
LX, yeah. For me,
Oh.
like off-roading is about what you see when you're out there,
Yes.
and how it feels to be out there.
Yes.
And that you need these trucks to get to those places.
Yeah.
It's not. For me, it's not about look at this big fucking thing I can climb, and it's also not about look at me go on this crazy journey in this old car when I have access to.
Yeah.
It's like one less thing to think about. Like I don't want to worry about this fucking thing breaking 300 miles away. Like give me a brand new car. It's one less thing to worry about.
Yes.
I suck though. It's,
You're
you know,
not going to get invited on any Haggerty trips.
I don't need to get invited on no Haggerty trips.
Well, you could take the Porsche.
I could.
Porsche.
Oh, see,
There you
that would
go.
actually
Come
be better.
on.
That
Yeah.
car would be fine.
Have you done any like?
Oh hell yeah!
A little bit of. I've done a little
A
off-roading.
little bit
in it.
of
Yeah.
off-roading?
Yeah, it's super fun.
I bet.
It's rad. Yeah,
I bet.
you can really slide it around and have a great
So
time.
you'll let me do the Rebelle in that one? Mm-hmm. No.
He can call Keen and ask if he can borrow one of Keen's cars.
He's got something to sell.
Yeah.
Someone
that'd be
get a car
amazing.
from somebody with something to sell. That's the best place to start, I think.
Yes. No, you're not. You're not wrong.
I think.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. What's coming up next?
LA Auto Show
Oh yeah.
coming up
week.
next. Yeah.
Are you up to date on the press releases? What's the fucking scoops?
It's funny. I'm not really that up to date yet. I've tried to put it off for as long as humanly possible.
As you do.
I know that the new Sentra is coming.
Oh shit! That's Central Life.
Settle down, guys.
Yo, what you know about that new Sentra? I don't even know what it looks like.
No one knows what it looks like.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't think it's come out yet.
The,
Yeah.
The new Snow Sentra?
I don't.
Isn't it this?
Is it?
Previewed by Chinese market. Yeah, it looks like this.
2020.
See how far behind I am? I haven't
It's not
even.
terrible
I haven't
looking, to be
even
honest
looked at
with
it.
you.
It looks like the Maxima from 8 years ago.
That's what it's supposed to.
But it's got similar. It's got that feature in the back, like the C pillar that's sort of similar.
Yeah,
that's
this
shared amongst
split
the
C-pillar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
they don't have
yeah.
a single car I want. Not a one. I'm sorry. I know you're tight with them. I know you did an Armada, but they don't
No,
They don't
but-
sell a single thing I want right now.
Listen, I mean, cars.
Sorry.
Cars are tough. No. Listen, I am neither paid by them nor endorsed by them. So, and I have my own issues with it. I will say this: like the seats in the Maxima are some of the most comfortable I've sat in.
Hey,
it's
there
like
you
your
go.
dad's
Actually,
Barca Lounger.
now you're
It's
talking
pretty-
Matt's language.
There you go.
It's pretty amazing. So yeah, LA is coming up. Let me think if there's anything. Well, the Defender's going to have its North American debut here, but we've all already. I mean, pretty much everyone's seen that.
I want to see what it looks like in person though, because
Yeah.
the photos it looks a little Honda Element-y.
The interior is phenomenal. I got a sneak peek of it back during the summer.
Yeah.
I had a extraordinary chance to go over to Gaydon and check it out,
Ooh.
which was really
The motherland.
awesome.
Does it look like that?
It's a little dark. Yeah, a little
Or
bit.
that?
But look at the
Or that?
yeah.
That's
yeah,
a good
that's
one.
it. That's
Yeah, okay.
it.
Looks nice. It looks
It's
pretty
super
cool.
nice, but look, you can see in the bottom right corner that there's a jump seat that is an option in there.
This
There's like
thing.
Yeah.
There's a floating dash.
So
there.
you can either, the center console is optional. You can pull that out. You can have a jump seat put in there. So it's, for all intents and purposes, that bench
Like a
seat.
bench,
so
yeah.
you can fit 3 people up front. There are a lot of, to me, there are a lot of cues of the kind of the old traditional. If you look at the door panels, like there are exposed rivets on the door
They
panels.
stole the
and-
shifter from a 2002 Honda Civic.
Where's the door? Oh, well, there's these rivets. Oh, these rivets here.
Yeah, so there's like unfinished stuff on it. There's it's got a little
that's kinda
bit of
cool.
its
Yeah.
kind of rough and tumble feeling. Like it's not fussy. It's not precious to me. It's still classy. It's still I think it's still Rover-ish, but it's not.
Isn't this
it's not overdone?
The swing in the price though is like from the base model to what normal people would drive is like insane, isn't it though?
But
Like,
isn't that the way with all the cars now?
Yeah.
I mean, like the base price on on any Mercedes is like, oh, that's not that bad. But then you like Mercedes
it's like, oh, you need windows? I'm sorry,
Mercedes.
you know, and suddenly it's like, oh, this is $80,000.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Did you know you can get a $200,000 Porsche Turbo S with manual seats? It's a base seat.
Did you go in there and do that? Did you make that car?
Did I build it?
On
No,
the
I got
website?
one as a press car once. I got a Turbo S, was $198,000, and it had no options on it. The only option was a paint to sample color, and other than that, it was a total fucking stripper.
serious?
Yeah, someone had a little fun with the spec game on that one, but I think they wanted to make it under $200K and still
Yeah.
look cool. So they did PTS and then slidey manual seats.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. If someone gave you $200,000, would you buy that car, or what other cars would you buy for
911 turbo?
$200,000?
Ah,
I wouldn't buy anything on the way down if I had $200,000. No fucking way. I'd buy some shit on the way up.
So what would you buy?
An R34 Skyline, like the nicest one I could find for $200K, and leave
Not
it
a
in
bad
Canada
choice.
for 6 years.
Not bad.
Yeah, 6 years with
Not
a
that you've-
Canadian rent.
Not
and
that you've thought about it.
yeah.
never, not once. You?
$200,000. It would definitely be something vintage muscle car-ish. Like I can't think of. I mean, $200K on a newer car. If it had to be a new car, and it had to be a new car, I would honestly, I'd probably maybe the Grand Sport wagon or Mercedes E-Class wagon,
That could be nice. That could be nice.
like fully spec'd out.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Sport Turbo S.
You can buy my Datsun 1600. They're
Yeah.
going up in value.
They are.
I'm stoked.
They are. I watch them on Bring a Trailer all the time.
$65,000
Uh-huh.
on Bring a Trailer. I mean, that's
for
not
what?
mine.
For a Datsun 1600?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Was
I mean,
it so
had
expensive?
it had an upgraded engine in it.
Oh,
and
Did you
it
see
was
the
like-
Did you see the one at SEMA with the Roadster with the
That-
removable?
the red one?
No, the green one.
Oh, I did not see
this
that
thing?
one.
No, there was
Datsun
a
1600s,
Yeah,
this
That
that
one,
one. That
yeah.
green one.
Oh, wow.
That green one.
That is just delightful. Look at
It's
that.
got the SR
It's got
motor
the
in it.
Speedster
Yeah, yeah.
windshield and someone explain the one yellow headlight to me. What's that about?
It's like a throwback
winky?
to the racing.
Why is that?
Like, well, you would see the yellow fog lights or all the yellow headlights, but
I've
it's
never
just
seen
they kind of
one.
I haven't either.
But I do like this. Have you ever seen the guy who did the he's local here, 190 SL Speedster? He did this this really amazing 190 SL. Here we go. And turned it into
Whoa.
Whoa,
a
my-
really cool kind of speedster vibe. It's like the only like real cool 190 SL I've ever seen.
I would.
Pretty awesome.
that'll do.
I'd spend
Yeah.
my $200,000 on something like
That's
that.
the same vibe as the SEMA
could probably-
Datsun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the same vibe from. I
Yeah.
think the SL's done a little better, but
That's
it's
very
still in the
sm-
same.
But that's very smart.
Yeah.
So there was another one. There was another Datsun at SEMA that was done by a guy named Mike Spagnola. And
Yeah, the black one, right?
I think it was red.
No? Okay.
Yeah, it
Like
was
this
really,
one?
Oh, maybe it's that one,
But
yeah.
I love that there are like that. These are these are coming up, man. These
Oh,
are like
yeah.
a thing, and I'm digging
You're,
it.
you're ahead of the
Oh,
game.
this red one looks good.
I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You know
Mine
what's funny
looks
about this?
nothing like that.
These Panasports look like huge, but they're probably like 14s.
Yeah, mine looks nothing like that. Mine's
It
very stock, but it's a little bit of a Frankenstein, which I don't care. I just love that car, and yeah.
1600s are cool,
That
man.
silver one's
Yeah.
nice too.
Silver one's good. Whoa.
That's from SEMA a few years
This
ago.
black one, this black coupe. Yeah, I'm fucking with the 1600. There's no way I can fit in one though. I just can't
Yeah,
do it.
my dad is 6'3", and I have to obviously put the top down, and then he's like this over the front windshield.
I drove an MG midget
Like,
once. It was just
hi.
like that.
Like, put your hat on tight because this is gonna blow off your head.
That's hilarious.
And I've got the 66 has the low windshield instead of the
Oh,
so
so
it's
he's really
69.
screwed.
Yeah. So it's like, oh man,
We got to
It's a slouch.
SR20 swap in your car and change the suspension.
if I need
a
it,
little
and then
bit.
I'll need
Just like everything?
a 5-speed instead of a 4-speed. That's
Yeah.
the first thing I'd want to do is like
Well,
swap
just
out the trans.
Swap out the whole drivetrain.
Just do everything.
Do all the things.
Just do everything it needs all at once.
Okay, done. I wish.
Wave your magic wand.
I wish. That'd be amazing.
Shall we? Should we
yes.
answer some of the people's things? What do they want to talk about?
Things.
See what
I
they
think
want.
sometimes they want good things. Today's not one of those
boy.
days. I'm just kidding.
We'll see if the questions change with Lyn here.
Full Octane Garage wants to know who we think would win on a racetrack in a GT2 RS, Chris Harris or Randy Popst.
Popes.
I think Randy Popst would probably win.
I put my money on Randy just because he follows me on Instagram.
If they were drifting, I'd say Chris.
I think probably Randy, but it would probably be a good race. I think Chris could win on any given day.
Depends on the track, too.
Yeah. It says not Laguna Seca.
So
It could be anyway. Cross and Shoot says, just wants to say hi to Lyn.
Hey, what's up?
there you go.
Stitch 666 wants to know, they like that I've been hanging out with Opie and want to know if I'm going to do any shows with Anthony from the Opie and Anthony show. And the answer is no. He's a crazy right-wing gun nut who fucking beats his girlfriend. And the answer is no. At the musical, Murray says, so Lyn, you must see on December 13th the Fast and Furious musical parody in LA.
No.
It's fucking hilarious.
Really?
Yes, you must go.
Is it live theater?
Yes.
Okay.
And I hate live theater, but Brad and Joey, who wrote the show, were on our show, and I saw it twice, and I brought Zach to see it last time. It's fucking hysterical.
December 13th?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's some of the best writing. Like, someone needs to give these guys, like, an agent
Cash.
and careers and a lot of money immediately.
Okay.
Because it's very, very funny.
All right.
And if
Done.
anyone else is in LA, December 13th, come see the Fast and Furious musical at the Dynasty Typewriter Theater.
Dynasty Typewriter.
If it's not sold out by now, because he's been talking about it for like 3 podcasts. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to get tickets.
Jorge Trujillo wants to know if I would do the Vanquish 25 by Callum. Did you see this thing?
Mm-mm.
By Callum. So Ian Callum, who I've met before, and he is a delightful man.
Yes.
He has decided, I asked him once if he ever owned any of the cars he's designed, and he said he had not. And I thought that was very strange.
Yeah.
I said, how could you not have bought any of the cars that you designed? You're like an icon, and your cars are so pretty. And he goes, they're pretty, but they're always changed from my drawing.
Well, of course.
And so it's hard for me to not see that in the production car.
Sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I guess Ian has come out of retirement to do a series of limited edition Vanquishes, continuation cars of sorts. They have some type of new gearbox that's a traditional torque converter auto.
Okay.
They have updated suspensions. They have bigger brakes, different. Actually, I don't think the wheels are different, but they have a new front bumper that makes it look more like the newer cars. I don't think this needed doing. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I love Ian Callum. I think he's a genius, but I just don't see how this is a thing that needed doing.
I'm glad they gave him the opportunity to keep his name out there and do something kind of cool, but what does that translate to dollar-wise?
I mean, aside from the lettering on the tires, which is completely out of character for a Vanquish of any kind, that needs to go. Aside from that, it's fine, but it just didn't necessarily need doing. So would I be doing it to my car? Certainly not. But would I get mad at somebody who did that? Like, no, knock yourself out. I mean, here's an argument that it could be made. I see a lot of DB11s on the street now. They're around in LA.
Yes.
The Vanquish is way fucking prettier.
Way.
It's way more restrained and tasteful and pretty.
Yes.
So to upgrade that, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't know if Ian Callum really needed to do it. But who knows? Maybe he got divorced and need the money.
Right.
I don't know. Ryan says, I have a 99 Mercedes SLK 230 for top-down cruising. What tires would you recommend for a good balance of quiet ride, decent life,
always
and grip? Hashtag just get the Michelins.
Yeah.
The Michelin Pilot Sport 4S is your tire, sir. And if they don't have that, the Super Sport. And if they don't have that,
whatever other Michelin you can put on there.
They don't, speaking of Vanquish, here, you want to know the irony of Vanquish by
Callum?
By Callum. Here's the irony. This tire in this size will not be a Super Sport. It will not be a Pilot Sport 4S, and it will not be a Pilot Sport Cup 2. This is a Michelin Pilot Sport 2, the 15-year-old tire.
Wow.
Why do I know that? Because this is the stock wheel, and this is the only tire they make that fits it, because I just had to buy a set. They don't make for it. They made
funny.
super sports
That
for
is
this
funny.
car 5 years ago, and they don't make them anymore.
Aw.
So
Can you
unless
special order them or no?
Nope.
No.
Boo.
they no existe, ma'am. I'm sorry, it no existe.
You now own 2 cars with limited tires that you can't get when you
What
want.
can't you get?
The Countach.
Oh no, the Countach I can get tires. Pirelli makes them.
They do. They
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like
They
They
do
make 2
special.
options.
Oh, okay.
They have a P0, which is
For
what I
a while,
have.
they were only making them on limited runs.
Right. No,
Yeah.
they.
And then people would hoard them.
Oh yeah, well, like the LMO02s, I remember when those would come out, and I was working at Lambo at the time, and they did a run of it, and we like the phones were off the hook. Like, I
Yeah.
need a set.
Yeah. So no,
Fine.
Pirelli just makes them now.
Okay.
So they have a P0, which looks like the original tire,
Nice.
but has a more modern compound. It's like an all-season-y type compound. And then they have a new P7, which eschews tradition entirely, doesn't look
With the
anything like the
modern
old
tire.
tire, but is a new modern tire.
Interesting.
Harry Metcalf says I should get those. So when these are done, I'll
I'd be interested to see what you think what you feel the difference is.
yeah, I think he says it's amazing, so it should be
Nice.
cool.
I
Yeah,
feel like Pirelli should send you some.
I think they should.
Victor Carrillo, are you out there?
Victor would hook it up probably.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'm going to see him tomorrow, so I'll ask.
Oh, tell him I said hi.
I will do
That's that's probably an item that's like they're not just laying around. Nate says using a 99. Wait, why is the second person?
I don't know. Is that the same guy?
Why did 2 people ask me who was faster, Chris Harris? Oh, this is a
It's
different
Jethro.
question.
Oh,
The
Jethro
first one
or
was Chris
Tyler.
Harris versus Randy Popes. This is now Chris Harris versus Jethro or Tanner.
I'm gonna throw.
Tanner.
Really?
I think Tanner is
Not
an
Jethro?
extraordinarily fast racing driver, and I think he probably would beat Chris or Jethro, both of whom are very good.
Yeah.
You're splitting hairs. Tanner's a
Right.
magician.
All right.
He's a magician. He beats like he beat Petter Solberg in Rallycross. Like
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's beaten like such heavy hitter drivers in Rallycross.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
Tanner's he's got magic hands, magic feet. Motozan says, is the Golf R worth the money over a GTI, and how would you compare a Golf R with a Veloster N? And I'll take the third part first. Is TW Steel a fashion brand? Yes. Watches. Okay, listen. Golf R worth the money over a GTI. A Golf R is like 12, 13K more than a GTI.
Yes.
You get a bunch more power.
Yes.
You get all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Is that worth more? Is that worth 13K? It
Again, it
depends who
goes
you
back
ask.
to what are you
It
using it
depends
for.
what you're using it for,
Yeah.
too.
We get these questions all the time. It's like, do I buy this? Do I buy that? Do I get rid of this for that? And it's like, you got to kind of give us more. Like, what are your intentions?
Okay, so I've tracked both of those cars.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I would take the R for sure. If you wanted it to be a track car,
Yeah.
I would take I would pay that extra money and I would do it. I think the GTI is good,
It's
but it's
fine.
more of an all-around
Yeah.
car. It's not as specified. It's not
I don't
as
think the GTI
specific.
has like the feedback that I
No.
want either. Everything's
No.
so like light in that car.
And I know everyone,
and with
like-
Veloster N. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I know that everyone kind of loses their mind for the GTI, but if I was looking for a speedier or a racier car, I'd pick the R or even the Civic Type R
There you go.
over that one.
Yep. Ed Estrella wants to know, what automotive jobs could I get with a business management degree? I'd love to work for a magazine, manufacturer, or aftermarket parts company. I mean, I think you answered your own question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Business management degree, like every automotive business needs management. Like,
Yeah.
pick your business. There's a suit there, except for mine.
Yeah.
Unless you want to sit at this chair next to me and do this, there's like Lyn. There's people who have suits on that manage the things that you do. You
Yes.
work for people with suits,
Yeah.
Vinny.
All
Yes,
the time.
there are suited folks.
So where should someone start? Like, I mean,
take what it is that you really love and just kind of go after it. I mean, if you only have just a business management degree, that's a pretty broad kind of term, and you're not into something specific. I mean, just start scouring all of the want ads for what's open, and just get your foot in the door somewhere. It could be finance.
Yeah, I think too. Don't be afraid to do a job that you may think is a little bit beneath you as well.
Just to get your foot in the door.
To get your foot in
Yeah.
the door. Honestly, I changed careers when I was 40 years old, and
Nice.
I went from a very lucrative job in advertising to a very not lucrative job in the television business. and you definitely have to eat a lot of humble pie. But if it's something you really want to do, then just do it, because it won't last forever. But then at least you have your foot in the door.
And you're enjoying what you do.
Yes.
Which is important.
So important, because you do it a lot for a lot of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going to do, you better fucking
I don't
like
understand why people are like, oh, but yoga's a hobby. I don't want to teach it for a living. And I'm like, but then you would be doing something that you really love.
Well, so here's where I agree with you, and it does seem silly, but here's where it can go wrong.
Yes.
When you do turn something that you love into a job, oftentimes you have to do so much of it that the idea of doing more of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
that it's optional.
I
if
imagine
it's a hobby.
there's a lot of things like making music or making art.
Yeah.
Or doing or any kind of stuff where the business of it really does suck a lot of the fun out of it.
No,
For
right.
me, like personally, having to do videos in volume
Yeah.
to make money versus having to do fewer stories of a higher quality,
You're right.
that's what started to suck the fun out of it. But like,
All right. No,
nevertheless,
point taken for sure.
but it's still good advice.
Point taken.
You should enjoy in general
What you
the
do.
thing if you have a
Right.
choice. If you have a choice.
That's true.
Ben says, "Hey Lynn, any interest in the cross-country rallies such as FIM Atacama Rally? I don't know if FIM stands for something.
Okay.
Africa Eco Race, Silkway Rally, etc. Would be awesome to see you at the next level." Do you know what those things are?
I don't know what those things are, but I'm definitely going to Google what those things are. I mean, honestly, the answer is yeah. I am always looking for what's next. I'm always looking for a good challenge, for what's a good story. What am I, how am I going to stretch myself and improve myself? And I mean,
enjoy a new experience.
Exactly. Driving off road is something that I get a lot of joy out of, as long as it's in a place that I don't feel like personally threatened in the safety arena.
You go off road in the Middle East anywhere now?
All right. Well, you want to see what the map is of the Atacama Rally.
Is that Chile? Where is that?
It's in South Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in it is in Chile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a part of Chile right here.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
It looks like a plate of spaghetti.
It does look like
It looks hardcore.
it looks like many racetracks lapped like on top of each other.
Do you want to? Does the idea of doing this activity in a foreign country change how you feel about it, or is it just one desert's as good as another?
Listen, I think that, I mean, as long as I had a good support team with me who could translate things, and I mean, I'm adventurous up until a point. Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to just go do this on my own. See ya. I don't feel like that's a very sage thing to do, but yeah, I would, like I said, a new challenge to me is always interesting. I think if something scares you, you should probably say yes to it, unless you feel like you're personally being, threatened in some way. So yes, I absolutely would do anything like that. So
Excellent.
Cool. Thanks,
Thank you, Ben.
Ed.
That was Ben. That was
hi.
Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Jeff says, thoughts on the EJ25 engine in a 2014 WRX. Is it reliable if stock? I pretty much Googled this and found this on page 1.
Oh.
Subaru settles engine lawsuit following months of discovery. It basically says that the owners contended in the lawsuit the turbo engine had a defect which allowed contaminated oil to carry damaging metal debris through the engines, and Subaru knowingly sold the cars with defective parts that led to engine failure. So there was a lawsuit. It was settled. There was something of a recall. Engines were replaced or repaired. So to answer your question, I would make sure that you search every single car you look at and make sure those repairs were done and that you don't have an engine that has that problem. Aside from that,
You're good.
it's a Subaru.
Yeah.
Aside from the massive engine failure possibility
Whoops.
that led to a class action
The
lawsuit.
foreign particles wandering through your engine. Yeah.
The good news is, though, if you don't get one of those, you could get a WRX of literally any other year, and they're all exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's the good news.
Yes.
Oh, last question before we get the fuck out of here. Philip wants to know, would you rather use a Nissan 350Z or a 240 SX as a drift toy?
I just did drift school.
Drift 101?
Drift 101.
With Naoki?
I love that
The
guy.
best, right?
Oh my gosh. And I just
Yeah.
felt like every time he's smoking a cigarette and he's like, do it again.
Dude, it's
Do it
just,
again.
I know, it's like Han. It's
Do it
fucking
again.
right.
And I'm like, oh, I suck at this. But so I started out in the 240, in that 240 SX, and it takes a lot of work to get it. It's definitely not as powerful as the 350.
Yeah.
The 350 is fun because it's a lot. I mean, honestly, it's a lot easier than the 240. But
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
The 240, you're talking the Drift 101, was powered by a KA24, which is a crappy little
Yes.
fucking engine.
Yeah.
They used it. They used it in the Nissan pickup truck.
Yeah, it's a
They
shit
used it,
engine.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's durable. You can kick the crap, but that car is
Yeah.
really light, but you have to kick the crap out of it.
Yeah.
The Nissan has enough power where you can drive it a little more normally.
Yes.
And not have to really abuse it.
But the good thing is if you can do it in the 240, then you can totally do it in the 350.
Right. The other recommendation I could make is that you can get any number of JDM 240s that have factory SR20 engines.
Yeah.
And it'll bridge that gap pretty nicely. And you can have that lightweight 240 with a little more power of a modified SR20. You just got to get used to driving on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I think, is fun, and I've done it in drift cars, and it's the same.
Yeah.
If
really.
you're gonna buy a 240, you could swap the SR into it. It's
also.
It's like a $1,500 swap.
Or
It's
an
pretty-
LS,
Yeah.
if you wanted to get there.
You really want to
Yeah.
go completely insane, you do an
Yeah.
LS, yeah.
But if you want, like, the most important thing about a race car or a drift car is that it is on the track racing or drifting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yes,
so the
key.
best race car you can buy is the one that gets
That
you
you-
from your seat to the
Yeah.
racetrack better.
Yes.
So that's
and
what I would
doesn't
say.
break. Yeah.
And home again.
Yes.
This one just came in at the very end. How would I compare Canadian roads with the U.S.? They were beautiful outside of Vancouver. I don't know much about them beyond that, but they prepare themselves for cold really well.
Yes.
To take care of them. And Nicholas wants to know if I'll film me and Zach at an open mic. Nah. Nah, son. Sorry. Well, that's our show. You want to plug anything, Lynn, while you're here? Before you get out of here?
Just if you check out my videos at KBB's YouTube channel, and I work in concert with Micah Musio, and we review all kinds of new sheet metal there. I think that's about
Brilliant.
That's about it.
Thanks for coming in. It's always good to have you.
Dude, I love being here. Thank you so much for having me.
Good.
As always.
Drive that Montero safe.
I will.
For those of you joining us live tomorrow, Wednesday the 13th, 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific, we have Amber Blonigan, the owner of GI Motorsport here in LA.
Cool.
She's a fun one. She's been a friend for a long time, and she's got a really interesting business and some really interesting customers, and she does cool shit with cool cars. She's going to be great. That's tomorrow at 5. And for those of you not listening live who are hearing it later, I hope the first 20 minutes of our show about our discussion about movies didn't get hacked off. There's
We'll
only
find
going
out
to
in
be
a little
one
bit.
way to find out. I think it hasn't. It seems like this counter says it might still be there. So I hope it's salvageable. And if it isn't, if our intro is a little awkward, I apologize. And I hope Wirecast does better next time.
Speaking of movies, by the way, I actually just sold a script. I just sold
Fuck outta here.
I just sold a movie. Can't really talk much about it right now, but
Bravo.
hopefully by the next time that I'm on the show,
Really?
there will be some fun news.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So
Thank
you get paid. You get
cool.
paid nice. You get a little nice check.
Oh yeah, I don't ride for free anymore.
Hell yeah.
It's so LA of you.
I don't
Nobody
ride
should. Gig
Unless
economy,
it's something
folks.
I really want to do, I do
Did you
not
rent
ride
it
for
at
free.
Starbucks?
No, I can't do that. It's too noisy.
No. This is how the gig
distracting.
economy works in Los Angeles,
Yes.
folks. Welcome to it. That's our show for tonight. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a connection to the internet, a microphone, and ideally something to say. Good night, everybody.